Hey romance readers, welcome back to AdoreR. I know I was supposed to post this video yesterday, but it didn't happen. I just was not in the mood. Then I got to looking at a lot of my recorded stuff on my DVR, so it just didn't happen. I was in the movie mood yesterday, so I was just watching a whole bunch of movies, and I was like, I need to post a video, but you know how that goes. It never did happen. So I said, I'm gonna post it Monday. So here I am. I hope everyone's having a good day today. I know it's Monday. You know how those Mondays go. You be like, I don't feel like doing nothing on Monday. I be dragging on Monday at work. It'd be hard, but I keep telling myself, you can do it. You can do it. That's why if you get in one of those moods on Monday, just say, hey, I'm gonna have a happy Monday. So I'm wishing all of you out there a happy Monday, and I hope the rest of your week be fantastic. So let's get started. I know I said I was gonna do 3 videos. I only ended up doing 2. So today I'm doing my book haul today. So let's get started. First up, and the first batch of books I got them from McKay bookstore. It's a big bookstore. They sell everything: CDs, games, anything you want. It's just like a big warehouse with everything in it. So, and they also had a romance book section. Yeah. So I stopped by there on my way back into Nashville, because I mentioned before that store, where I live at and where that store is at, that's a long way, and I'm not finna drive way over there. But I mentioned I had went out of town, and on my way back into town I passed right by that bookstore, so I stopped and I was like, let me go in here and see what they got. So here's my little book haul from there. Like I said, I went to McKay's, and the other batch of books I got them from the general dollar store. They have books in there too, and I racked up on a couple of those. So let's get started. The first book I have here is Spindrift by Miranda, Jarrett, and you can see they put a sticker anywhere. They just be placing stickers. Why are you placing it all over the title and the page, the author's name? You need to be up here somewhere in the middle. Really? Okay. And this is Spindrift by Miranda, Jarrett, as I said, and this is a Harlequin historical. Have I mentioned before that I love reading historicals? So most of these are going to be historicals, of course. And this was published back in May of 1993. And I'll read a little synopsis off of this one. From the moment she found the stranger washed up on her shore, Damaris knew her life would never be the same. For though he claimed to have lost his memory, rumors of pirates in Rhode Island's waters abound, and Damaris could not dispel her fear that Jonathan had a violent past. When Jonathan Sparkhawk finally came to, he was face to face with a prim-looking Quaker dressed in widow weeds. Yet there was more to Damaris Allen than met the eye, and Jonathan was fast discovering the dangerous waters that lay beneath her calm exterior. So this is Spindrift by Miranda Jarrett, and it only cost me a nickel. Yeah, so I couldn't pass that up. Next, I have another historical, Harlequin historical. It's Margaret Moore in the King's Service, and I paid 75 cents for this one. And I think I've read some of Margaret Moore's book before, so that's why I got this one. And this was published in, see here, 2003. And I'll read you a little of this synopsis. 'Twas said he could whisper a woman to bed. Okay. And now Sir Blad Morgan had turned his considerable charms on Lady Becca Stockton. But could she trust his intent? A childhood injury had made her fit to be no man's bride, and yet the Welsh warrior made her feel she's a right to her woman's heart. And that's Margaret Moore in the King's Service. So I said I'll give that one a try. 75 cents. Next I have Norah Hess, Flint. Look at them, really. And then you got the Walmart sticker up here, and then you got the McKay sticker down here. Okay. And this is Flint by Norah Hess. I think I mentioned her on my channel before. I like Norah Hess. I got quite a few books of hers somewhere upstairs. And I might even have read this already. I wasn't for sure, so I went ahead and got it again. And it was only 50 cents. So I was like, why not? So let me see when this was published. This was back in 2001. I don't even know if Norah Hess still writing, because I'm gonna have to go look that up and see if she's still writing, because I know I read a lot of her historical, and she writes. This is a Western, a historical Western, and I read a little bit of this. A hard-eyed man, Flint Mahone, came back from the war between the states with only one tender feeling left for the missing children of his dead brother. So when the three little ones showed up on his doorstep with a fierce Wyoming winter in the offering, he knew he would do whatever it took to make them a home. Lauren Hart had been raised among outlaws, taught to gamble to make her way in the world, but she wanted nothing more than to lead a decent life, to meet other girls her age, to own a pretty dress. One glance told her Flint Mahone was trouble, a ladies' man who knew all the right moves and none of the right emotion. Love was as foreign to him as marriage, but Lauren couldn't resist his plea for help. And when she saw the gentle way he held his little niece, she knew there was hope yet of reaching the warm, caring man beneath the wild, carousing cowboy. And that's Norah Hess, Flint. Next I have Eloise James, a Kiss Me Annabel, a historical. And let me see when this was published. This was 2005. I'll read a little bit of this. A husband, the rules of marriage according to Miss Annabel Essex. A husband must be rich. Okay. Make that very rich. She had enough of leaky roofs and thread-worn clothing. English. London is the center of the civilized world, and Annabel has a passion for silk and hot water. Amicable. Good looking would be nice, but not necessary. Same for intelligence. So she said he need to be rich, he need to be English, and he need to be amicable. Isn't she lucky? She's found just the man, and her chosen spouse is nothing like the impoverished Scottish Earl of Ardmore, who has nothing but his gorgeous eyes, his brain, and his kisses to recommend him. And that Eloise James, Kiss Me Annabel, a historical. And I think I told you when this was published. Yeah, 2005. If I did, I think I did. Next I have Sabrina Jeffries, To Wed a Wild Lord. Oh, and this right here was a dime. And Norah Hess was 50 cents. And Sabrina Jeffries, I guess because it's like a new one, they charged $1.25. And this was published in 2011. I'll read a little bit of this. Like everything Daredevil Gabe Sharp does, wooing Virginia Waverly in a high-stakes game. Like everything Daredevil Gabe Sharp does, wooing Virginia Waverly is a high-stakes game. Ever since her brother Roger died racing Lord Gabriel, Virginia has yearned to take her revenge on the reckless Lord by beating him at his own sport. But when she challenges Lord Gabriel to a race, the hellion called the Angel of Death counters with a marriage proposal. Gabe knows Virginia is in dire financial straits, so why not marry her and solve both their problems? And that's Sabrina Jeffries, To Wed a Wild Lord. A historical, of course. And next I have Shannon Drake, Branded Hearts. And this was $1.25. And this was published in 1994. Read some of this. A dark family secret and a dangerous destiny hold Anne McCassell to the unforgiving western frontier. A beautiful and tempestuous saloon keeper, she has dreams of vengeance to keep her strong until Iron McShane rides into town. An enigmatic half-Sioux ex-cavalryman, he blazingly claims her as his bride, igniting Anne's anger, her desire, and a firestorm of passion and peril that threatened to consume them both. So when I heard he was like half-Sioux, and then, you know, I like a ex-cavalryman, a military man, I was like, okay, I'm all in. So this is Shannon Drake, Branded Hearts. And the next batch I have here, I got these from the General Dollar Store, and they all cost $3. I was like, $3? You said it's a General Dollar Store? Couldn't this like be $1.50 or $1 or $2? $3? Yeah. What are they doing it at $3 at the general dollar store? Okay, but I guess I got sucked in because I bought them anyway. The first up here I have Lucy Monroe, Moon Craving. I think this is a paranormal historical romance. Let's see when this was published. 2010. I read some of this. If it was up to him, Tacklock, they become, I don't know where they be getting these names for, Laird of the St. Clair clan and leader of his werewolf pack. If it was up to him, he would never marry. But when the king orders Tarlac to wed an Englishwoman, the lone wolf is shocked to find a challenge in his mate, the strong-willed Abigail. And after a passionate wedding night, the two fiercely independent souls seek an unbreakable bond. And that's Lucy Monroe, Moon Craving. I think I read Lucy Monroe before, but I can't remember. But like I said, it's a paranormal historical. Next I just bought this because it said Jo Goodman, and it's Marry Me, and it's a historical. And when was this published? As you know, I like Jo Goodman. I like her writing. This was published in 2010. I read a little bit of this. Ray Abbott is fierce, brave, and used to a life of isolation on her father's spread on the outskirts of Rendare, Colorado. But when, overcome with sickness, she collapses. She knows she must return to town if she is to have any hope of recovery. Only there is no place for her but the new doctor's home, and he wants more than just to heal Rain. He wants her hand in marriage. So when I read that right there, and plus I like Jo Goodman, I was like, let me get this. I'm gonna try it out. Marry Me, Jo Goodman. Because I think I mentioned on here, I like when the hero and heroine get married before the book ends, and you know, it's still, the story is still going on like getting at the end of the book, and then they get married. Okay, I want to know what happened afterwards. Marry Me, Jo Goodman. Next I have I got a I finally got a contemporary. This is Nothing But Trouble by Rachel Gibson. I've never read her before. Let me see when this was published. I never read any of her books before. 2010. This was published in 2010. I'll read a little bit of this. Chelsea Rawls' acting career has been a total bust. The closest she ever came to stardom was her brilliant performance as Pretty Dead Girl #1. But leaving Hollywood to become the personal assistant to a famous hockey player could be her stupidest career move ever. So that's why I got this. It mentioned that the hero is going to be a hockey player. Yeah. Injured superstar Mark Brizzler, glory days are over. The bad boy ex-jock could at least be civil to the paint-sized, pink-haired bombshell who the Seattle Chinooks hired to be his PA. If Chelsea didn't need the money, she'd be running from the world's biggest jerk as fast as her feet could carry her. So there's Nothing But Trouble, Rachel Gibson, a contemporary. Next, I have another historical here, The Marriage Ring by Cathy Maxwell. I don't think I've read any of her books either, Cathy Maxwell. Let's see when this was published. This was published in 2010 also. I'll read some of this. This eliminates Grace, the woman who will one day wear Richard Lynsay ring will be gentle, dainty, and well-bred. This eliminates Grace McAchin on all 3 counts. A hellion of the first order, the alluring, infatuating woman would be nothing more than a passing temptation to an upstanding gentleman like Richard, if it weren't for the fact that she's trying to blackmail his father. So that caught my attention. Or, as Grace sees it, trying to get justice and maybe just the slightest hint of revenge on the family that tore her life asunder when she was just a girl. And as for Lynsay, well, the stuffy, humorless man wouldn't suffer for time spent in company more exciting than that of his company ledgers. So when I read that he's going to be stuffy and humorless, I was like, that sounds interesting too. And she's supposed to be a temptress. What is that? Let me see. A hellion. I'm sorry. A hellion of the first order. So I was like, that sounds pretty interesting. I hope it's good. The Marriage Ring, Cathy Maxwell. Next, another historical. Karen Hawkins, Lady in Red. I don't think I've read any of her books either. And this was published in 2005, I'll read a little bit of this. Wealthy and powerful Marcus St. John, the Marquis of Tremont, must recover a lost family heirloom that is in the possession of Miss Miss Honora Baker Sneed. All he needs to do is convince her to relinquish his treasure for a reasonable sum, but when he meets Honora, he's surprised to discover she is as headstrong as she is beautiful. Honora is astounded when Marcus shows up on her doorstep and arrogantly demands a ring that is rightfully hers. She agrees to return the heirloom, but on one condition. He must sponsor her sister in society, an idea Marcus considered absolutely preposterous. And it's Karen Hawkins, Lady in Red. And let's see, did I say when this was published? 2005, if I didn't. My memory is not too good, people. And last but not least, I have Lynsay Sands, Falling for the Highlander. And this was published in another historical. This was published in this was 2017, so this just came out. Did they put the month in here? I don't know what month it was published though, but January. Well, the hardcover was published in January, and the mass market printing was published in February. So this was published in February of this year. I'll read a little bit of this. Lady Maureen Carmichael has known her share of bad luck, but when her debt-ridden half-brother tries to sell her off in exchange for a few Scottish horses, it's the final straw. If keeping her freedom means escaping through harsh countryside alone, so be it. She has barely begun her journey when she lands an unlikely escort, the brawny Highlander who just refused to buy her virtue. And that's Lynsay Sands, Falling for the Highlander. And that's all I have. That's the end of my haul here. Lynsay Sands, Falling for the Highlander. The Marriage Ring, Cathy Maxwell. Marry Me, Jo Goodman. Lucy Monroe, Moon Craving. Karen Hawkins, Lady in Red. Nothing But Trouble, Rachel Gibson. Shannon Drake, Branded Hearts. Sabrina Jeffries, To Wed a Wild Lord. Eloise Jane, Kiss Me Annabel. Norah Hess, Flint. Margaret Moore, In the King's Service. And Spindrift by Miranda Garrett. Have any of you read any of these? If you have, comment below and let me know what you thought of them. And I don't know when I'm going to get to those because I got books and books and books. I know. But I love books. And I love romance books. So when I see one, I just can't help it. So I'm not even going to try to stop myself anymore. I'm just fighting a losing battle. So I'll just say whatever. If I see one I like, I'm going to get it. But like I said, that's all I have for today. Hopefully I will get another video out this week. Yeah, my camera went out again. It just stopped recording. I ain't gonna say it went out. I just stopped recording for some. I don't know what's wrong with this camera. I'm gonna buy me a new camera. I'm gonna invest in me a new camera because this one is working my last nerve. Anyway, I just wanted to come back and say I hope everyone's have a fantastic week. Like I mentioned earlier, I hope you do. And I will be hopefully posting another video this Friday. Keep my fingers crossed. But until then, you know what I'm going to say. Keep reading those romances until Friday, maybe. Bye.